welcome to the Ambitious Bookkeeper podcast. Welcome back to the Ambitious Bookkeeper podcast. Today I have a really special guest. It's Erin Pohan. She is one of our OG alumni, whatever you want to call it, within the community. Erin's been in this world for so long, not necessarily from the beginning, but pretty close to the beginning. And I wanted to bring her on because we have a special announcement. Erin is going to be our co-coach. She's going to coach with me inside of this upcoming cohort of the Bookkeeping Business Accelerator, which if you're listening to this, that means cart is open, registration is open for the accelerator for the next 6 days. So welcome, Erin. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. How are you today?
I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this conversation and just for the news to come live to everyone. And this is just, I was just saying, it's a full circle moment because, I own UpKeeping, which has been in existence for 5 years this month
Wow.
and really exists because I found your bookkeeping business workshops. So it's just such an honor to just have this really special role in this upcoming cohort.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's taken me a long time to get to the place where I felt comfortable bringing on another coach. And I know other programs can seem really big and scary and stuff. Like I've been through programs where you think that you're getting the person launching the program in the program, and then it turns out it's like they've hired all these other coaches. And I didn't like that experience. And so I'm trying to be really intentional with making sure that before people do sign up for this cohort, they understand what they're getting. They are getting both of us, not one or the other, and who they're also going to be coaching with. Because that's the other thing is a lot of times those programs will launch. You think you're going to be coached by the person who is creating the content like in the course and doing all the marketing. And then you get in there and you're like, oh, wait, I don't have access to that person at all. Other than the pre-recorded videos. So we've structured it in a way that it helps bring in another perspective, which is yours. And also, like, you have the successful business to show for it from going through our program and being in the community. Obviously, it takes work on your end. It's not like you can just come in the program and magically have it work. Like you have to, just like anything else, you have to do the work and follow the process. But yeah, I'm really excited to have another perspective. And also, we have different businesses. We run our businesses slightly different. So that was one thing that I wanted to talk about. And one of the big pillars inside of the program is I talk a lot about designing something that is correct and right for you. And my program helps walk through those things so that you can build your own business. And so I wanted to kind of touch on that, I guess, with you today and talk about how you took what you learned and built something that was right for you and what that looks like as opposed to how my business looks. So I guess we could start really just from your origin story, just in case no one has come and listened to all of the podcasts. If they're brand new, maybe they just saw a Facebook ad like you did initially, and they're brand new to this world. So yeah, I'm going to let you take it away and tell your story now.
Yeah, and I know it's so cool that this is maybe the third time I've been on the podcast.
Yeah.
I remember the first time very vividly. It was summer, but it was so cold in my living room, and I was so nervous recording, and I was
Cold
like
sweat.
shaking. I was like shaking like this. I'm like, I hope she doesn't see my whole body physically shaking. Because at that time, that was like year one. It was towards the end of year one of UpKeeping. And you were just like doing a check-in with some of the students. And my desk was like set up in this corner of my living room because I had learned very early I have little kids, and I tried to set up like my office in the basement. And then summer hit, and I was like, what do I do? Like, my kids are feral, like running around trying to run this business. So I learned to move my desk in this little corner in the living room where I can keep an eye on them. And then there were other weird things that happened because of that, because they'd want to watch a show when I'm in a client meeting, and figured it out. Now I have my own office. It's all good. But I actually I feel like we might have a little bit of the same origin story from past conversations, but I actually started in Virginia in a Walmart accounting office, which is really funny because I was actually working at customer service during Christmas time, and it
Mhm.
was like the worst people experience, and I'm a people person. And like people were trying to return gallons of milk that were like almost empty, saying like it doesn't taste good anymore. And I was like,
Oh my goodness.
at what point did you notice? And now you want to return it. So I was done peopling, which is a lot to say for me. And the accounting office was behind a closed door away from the public. And so I was going to school for marketing at the time. And just so happened that I took Accounting 101 as a prereq
Mhm.
at the same exact time that I switched into the accounting office, and I loved it, and it made sense, and I loved the idea of needing to balance several hundreds of thousands of dollars that flowed through that Walmart each night, and we wouldn't be allowed to leave the office until we balanced that to the penny. So we had like this critical mission every single shift. And some shifts it worked so well, and some shifts we were there until like 2 a.m.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
just trying to figure out what happened, what was keyed wrong, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was like a fun challenge, and then with the schooling, it just made sense to me when I was realizing other people were not enjoying any of the actual work they were doing, and so I changed from marketing to accounting, and then I met a Marine and we moved all over the country and the world. And so my career was definitely affected by that, but I was really, really fortunate to find a few CPA firms who took the military spouse in and allowed me to gain that experience for whatever amount of time they had me. And so I really gained the public accounting sphere of work during our time in Arizona and then in Philadelphia as well. And that helped me to realize my love for the cyclical bookkeeping month end, the client relationship building piece of it too. And that is what I ultimately wanted to focus on was everything up until tax prep because the tax season was not for me.
Yeah, yeah, I can resonate with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so talk about the point in which you decided it was time for you to go out on your own and where you were at with your career and all that good stuff.
So we had moved to Seattle, Washington, which is where I am based out of now, in 2019. In 2020, yeah, it must have been during COVID, I found a local firm here who was advertising for part-time work. And so I started working for that firm, and I worked for that firm for about a year, just handling books. But I realized that I was working with clients that were not a good fit for who I am, personality wise. A lot of money bros, and a lot of clients who, not to any fault of mine, but were kind of forgotten about after they onboarded. And then a couple months go by, and then that's when they're introduced to me as their lead bookkeeper. And so those foundations were started off with this
Mhm.
level of mistrust. And it was really unfortunate. I had a lot of really great clients that I worked with, but at the end of the day, I wanted to work with the people who actually brought me joy, and then also just cut out the middleman, honestly. Just like I was doing all the work and only receiving a very small percentage. When I say very small percentage, 5 years into upkeeping now, I look back and was excited with, so I have a master's in accounting. I had experience. I looked back and I was making $21 an hour.
Wow.
Um, the minimum wage in Seattle today is right around there. And so I look back and I mean, entrepreneurship is completely a mindset journey. When you
Right.
get into entrepreneurship, you're just continually, it's like therapy.
Mhm.
Um, and so so much money mindset work, and I get to this point and I'm like, wow, I can't believe that I was settling that much for that kind of work with people that I didn't actually even get along with. So thankfully, I found the business bookkeeping workshops in January of 2021 and accidentally started UpKeeping because they were just so encouraging and motivating. And I, by the end of it, I mean, it was like the same concept, 3 days. By the end of it, I had the name for UpKeeping. I was ready to start putting myself out there as a bookkeeper for hire. And within like a month or two, I had my first client. And we're 5 years in, and I'm supporting a team of three other bookkeepers, and we've got 50 clients depending on the day. And it's great.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember in previous episodes that we've chatted, you talked about how you were like targeted for the ads and you're like, I don't know how, but I was just thankful. And it's like that algorithm is strong. Like, I don't necessarily go out and like choose who gets targeted with the ads. Like the meta gods just know. Like if you have any connection with accounting, if you've thought about starting a bookkeeping business, just had the inkling, like, and not even talked about it, it's like they can find you. And that's one thing that I struggled with initially of like, I don't know if I want to run ads because like, I don't know if I kind of agree with that. But at the same time, like, I wouldn't have like people that need to see these wouldn't see them if I didn't run ads. So it's definitely like a give and take on
I'm very
um
so keep on running them so they can reach the people who need to know that they can do it too.
yeah. So you mentioned that by the end of the workshops, you had your name picked out. Within a couple months, you had your first client. What are some of the biggest, what do you find or think were the biggest contributing factors to getting those things in place besides the workshops? Like, what work did you actually have to do?
I mean, the workshops really lay the foundation for what needs to be done. I mean, you have to figure out what tech stack you want to use. You have to work on the contracts that you want to have. I think the largest part of it is you need to figure out how you are going to be visible to find clients. I know okay, so backtracking, I did the BBA workshops. I joined the BBA Accelerator. It was amazing. I still refer to it 5 years later. I still look at the course. I still log in. I still grab templates. I still actively engage with it. But what the really special part has always been for me is the community. Is the when I have questions, I can go to the community or hop on the live Q&A and ask those questions and get my answers, because that was the missing piece. That was the scariest thing
Mm,
going at it, opening a firm as a solopreneur at the time. Was I used to have someone in the next office that if I had questions, I could just walk over and ask those questions. Now, what do I do when I have questions? Well, now we have a community. We have access to people who probably have answers or can point you to where you can find the answers. And I think that bit of community in those first few months was the biggest piece for me, because, I was trying to figure out, how do I get visible? And in those community calls, and I would probably guess every single community call since, the question is, how do I get my first client?
yes,
Like, where
absolutely.
where do we find our clients? And the answer is, you have to have some kind of visibility plan. You have to figure out, are you going to start networking in person? Are you going to start networking online? Website? Are you going to start sharing? How are you going to start sharing? Are you going to create an Upwork profile? For us, that's what I did. I went on to Upwork, created a profile, and that's where I got my first client from. And I haven't used it in a while, but it was a pretty solid lead generator for a long time. Even if I just logged into Upwork and then logged out, it was like it boosted my name back up into the algorithm, and then I'd have a proposal from a prospect like the next morning. So
Yeah.
I think the work was just to make myself known that here I am offering bookkeeping services, so that people who are in need of bookkeeping services would even know that I existed.
Yeah. That's a really solid piece of advice and is really transferable to any method of marketing, of just like decide what you're going to do and go do it. Go hit the ground, boots on the ground or
Yeah.
online, whatever your method is. And I know there's so many options out there. And one of the things that I teach inside the program is to just pick one or two and go all in and give it time because it's not something that's going to necessarily happen overnight. If you're lucky, it will. But luck is like a combination of the right timing and just like consistency. So it still requires you to just, it's kind of a numbers game. Don't be spammy, but like just be there, be in the room where the people are that you want to work with. And so, yeah, that applies whether you're going on Upwork or you're networking in Facebook groups or if you're going to in-person meetups. If you show up to everything, people are going to remember you because they're going to be like, oh, I saw you at the last mixer. Oh, your name is everywhere. I see your name popping up all the time. And it's like, yeah, that's intentional.
Another idea, which I didn't even remember until just now, is if you're open to subcontracting for another bookkeeper who needs help, especially during tax time or, year end. I did that with one of our community members. I subcontracted for her with a few clients for the first year or two, and it was a great relationship. And it just helped me to start working on the processes that I needed to build for our monthly bookkeeping
Yeah.
work.
Let's talk about that for a minute because I think I can hear someone is listening to this and they're like, yeah, but what if they steal all my processes and then they steal my clients and then they leave and then I'm left high and dry? Okay. That sure is a possibility, but you cannot go into things expecting that because that is exactly what you will get if that's what you expect. If you go into it thinking like, okay, like if you're the person bringing on a subcontractor, this is the mindset of like, okay, this is like there's plenty of work for everybody. This is going to help make sure that this new bookkeeper that's opening their doors is actually doing things the correct way and less business owners get screwed over if they're following the correct processes that I have in place. And yeah, everybody moves on from a job at some point. You are not guaranteed to keep somebody on for eternity. That's just not how business works. And once you kind of get over that hurdle at that level of thinking of like, oh my gosh, what if they leave and they leave me high and dry? Well, make it to where they, first of all, don't want to leave, or they know that like you are open to allowing them to like grow and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a mindset shift. And I've seen that come up in the community a lot of people like, oh, I need the help, but I'm afraid that someone's going to come in and steal all my processes and then steal my clients. And it's like,
Yeah. I'm
you're
glad you
not going to
said
get help that way.
I'm
Hmm?
glad you said that because honestly, I don't think either myself or her ever had that thought
Yeah.
of, we're competing in this. Like we were collaborating, and I think it's just the perspective of collaboration, and but both people have to be on board for that mindset. And I think that's how it will work. And if not, maybe there are some like hard rules that are written down somewhere. But yeah, each person works differently. And I think it's important to also know that there's so much work out there that, like, it's really not, I don't know. I'm always a community collaboration over competition.
Yeah, same. And the other thing, fear that I think is popping up as of late is like now it's not necessarily competition with each other, it's competition with AI. So I will be talking about that in the workshops. But if you're listening to this, the workshops are over, so you're just gonna have to wait till the next round. Or maybe just join BBA. But real briefly, like yes, in a sense, we're kind of competing with AI, but really it's not there yet. I just posted on Threads today that I spent 4 hours yesterday creating a YouTube video about like walking through the whole AI process that's built into Zero, the AI functionality. And it's kind of funny that I was like, okay, I know what I want to cover in this. I always go into these things knowing what I want to cover. And then I'm like, well, maybe I should use AI to try to help me flesh out my ideas. And I end up always going back to exactly what I started with. But I dropped in all the resources that I was already skimming through and reading on Zero's website about how their AI functions, the security details, and all of that, because I think that piece is really important to understand before you start utilizing these things. And I had already skimmed through it and kind of gotten the highlights myself, but I was like, okay, let's see what ChatGPT can do with this. And I dropped in the same links that I was reading, dropped it in and asked it to summarize the key most important pieces, and it gave me absolute vague trash. And I was like, you know what? Forget it. I will handle this. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how I feel about the AI that's built out for bookkeeping so far. At least that's kind of what the QuickBooks and the Zero, there's things about it that are helpful for sure that are going to speed things up, but it's still not a hands-off thing by
Yeah.
any means.
Yeah,
So,
but you know what's really cool just about being the one to run your own firm is that there are so many SaaS products that you can partner with to have a voice in that product and its development. So I'm working with the Count team. Count is like an AI accounting platform that's being built out. They're here local in Seattle, but I've been working with them for over a year now as like a partner advisor to like have that, hey, this is broken. This isn't working well,
yeah.
say, and watching that product just improve in real time based off of my decisions. But that's like the fun part of owning your business is you can have as much say in the industry as you will allow yourself. No one else needs to give you permission. If
Mhm.
you want to go talk to the vendor of the tech stack you're using and tell them that you really hate this part about it, like you get to do that.
Mhm.
And if you don't want to have a say in anything, you also get to just hang out behind the scenes and do your work. And so it's really all your choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm a huge proponent of, and I talk about this in the workshops too on the tech stack day of like, if you're not satisfied with the software, like you can say something. I'm just like, you have no room to complain if you're not willing to go onto their forum and let them know what sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that they
QuickBooks.
have the opportunity to change it and make it better because that's the only way they're going to know is if their users are asking for something. So I tell my whole team too when we're on meetings and they're like, oh, this piece of Zero is not working right. And I'm like, go submit a feature request. Like the 1099 process was different this year. There was some kind of holes in the way that Zero handled that. Like when someone submitted their W-9, it didn't alert us. So we didn't know to go back in to go and process the 1099. And it's like those little things, like, don't complain to me about it. I can't do anything about it, but we can all collectively go through our platform and upvote that feature request so that it gets in there for next year. But yeah. So you are involved in like what does that look like with working with Count? Are you implementing it across clients yet? Are you putting new clients on it? What is your game plan?
Yeah, so as of today, we have 5 clients on the platform, and it's a conversation that I have with any prospect that, hey, there's
Mhm.
this really great new AI accounting platform. You still access it on your end. It's your account. We're happy to show you around or schedule a demo for you to check it out. But we're really excited about the features, and so like as a quick example, I did a 3-month cleanup a couple months ago. And because I'm a nerd, I data track things. It was like 37 minutes and 33 seconds is how long it took me to do 3 months of bank and credit card transactions. And their AI like touched 80% of it and left 20% because I wasn't sure of that other 20% on how to categorize. But of the 80% it categorized, it was 100% accurate. So
Wow.
that was super impressive. I am also apprehensive about AI in its accuracy ability. I think there's going to be a lot of work done there. I don't trust it
Yeah.
fully. I still check it, but I'm really excited about it and its capabilities to just free us up on the recurring stuff so we can just provide more value to our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of where I'm tinkering with it as well. I haven't rolled it out to any clients. I'm using it internally on the two companies that I own because you do have to opt into it. Like I go through this in the video that I just recorded, but like once you activate it, you're basically sharing your data with it, even though it's not training on it. Like I don't think that we should be doing that on behalf of our clients. And that's one thing that I think Zero handles really well, where QuickBooks doesn't necessarily. I think QuickBooks has just automatically turned on AI for everybody, and I don't think that's cool. In Zero, you have to opt into it, although it is still in beta, so I don't know. It sounds like they're going to keep that security feature, but yeah, so I have not opted any clients into it, just my own books because I'm testing it out and I want to see what it can do and what it does well. And right now it looks like it's like the auto bank reconciliation feature is cool. It handles if there's already a rule set up, it applies the rule first and then it goes from learning and then you can also double check everything that it's done. And so it's basically like if you need another bookkeeper to process bank transactions, you can now use AI for that. So that I think is where some bookkeepers are going to be fearful because that data entry piece is kind of going away. But if they know how to do the data entry really well, they can now become reviewers of the accuracy. And I know not everybody's going to want to move to that kind of mindset, but it's the same thing happened when we started using cloud accounting software with with the machine learning was like baby AI, right? And so that took a lot of time off of our plates by being able to set up bank rules and things like that. You don't have to hand key enter and information anymore. So it's like the same kind of thing happened and it still needed oversight just like AI does. So yeah, it's a good opportunity for everybody to really up level their skills and instead of doing tedious mindless day-to-day work, you can actually use that time to learn more about like if you are a beginner bookkeeper, go take an accounting class, learn about the debits and credits, learn about what's actually happening behind the scenes so that you can correct it if it when it goes awry.
And also, ChatGPT is terrible with math. So do not
Yes,
trust
don't
it.
you? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I know we're getting close to the end of time, but let's talk about like, how we're handling since you're my co-coach now, let's talk
Yeah.
about what it's going to look like inside of BBA and what the schedule looks like and everything and what you're most excited for. So, first off, the cohort runs from March 23rd to May 15th. It's 8 weeks of live calls plus the core content. And the core content is still the same. It's me teaching everything because it's pre recorded. And then we have weekly hot seat coaching calls and weekly co working sessions for the 8 weeks. And then Erin is going to be running most of those. So I'll be there on the first call with Erin. It'll be both of us on the first coaching call so that you can get to know both of us and kind of get the lay of the land. And then it'll be Erin running most of them. There's a few that I'm going to be handling, I think a co working session. And then at the very last week, I'll be running those calls because Erin will be hosting Wave Seattle, which we also need to talk about before our time is up. Because I want people to know all the cool things that you're doing in your world as well. And then for this cohort, all new members are getting a Voxer group access with me. So you can have access to me as well in between calls. So if you are on the coaching call or if you miss the coaching call and you need support, you can also get access to me. And if Erin wants to be in that Voxer channel, of course, you can be in there. But I wanted to provide more of an equal, like you get access to both of us. And so if you need both perspectives, you can absolutely get both perspectives. And then I think that's pretty much it. What do you want to add? What are you excited about?
I think, I mean, you've said it a couple times, just the idea of having the different perspectives on how to answer questions. And, I've been around BBA long enough to know what questions come up often. But the great thing is, I'm QuickBooks native, you're Zero native. So if there's any like special questions related to those programs, like we both can talk on those. I am really excited just to talk about like the mindset piece too, which I didn't realize how important that was until you're going through it. And then you're going through not only the mindset work of starting the business, but then what do you do when you have a client who is difficult? Or what do you do when you want to disengage with a client? And just, having the ability to address things in this cohort that are worries that you and I can just kind of like give real life experiences of what we went through
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest piece. And the other thing too, I know you saw this Threads post because I think you liked it, but there are people in our industry that are running coaching programs for accounting firms, and there's absolutely no shade. And I'm not saying that they're not good at what they do, but not everybody has built from the ground up. So that's one thing that if that's what you're interested in doing and you want to learn and be mentored by someone who has done that. Erin and I have both started from scratch. We didn't come in as partner to some other firm with processes already in place. We had to create from the ground up. Although Erin had BBA to refer to,
Yeah.
but still, like she still customized her business to what she wanted it from to be like. So that's the other thing to take into consideration when you're building is like, who are you learning from? Do they have the same constraints that you do? If you're a mom with little ones at home, you are very welcome here. Even if you're not, you're very welcome here. But everybody has built in different ways and had access to different resources. So I think it's important to take that into consideration too. So,
Absolutely. And the program really does give you the bones for you to start your firm in whatever capacity you want to do it, whether it is a lifestyle firm, whether you have ambitions to grow it really big and get all the revenue. I think this groundwork sets anyone up for success to figure out what their version of success even looks like.
yeah, absolutely. The other thing that I was going to say earlier, and then it slipped my mind, is because I mentioned that we have the Voxer channel for just this cohort. Once you're a VIP, like you're in, and so you get to participate in future calls. So we'll have people that have been in business for a few years. Like you used to come on to all the calls like for years and years, and like just to share knowledge and also to just be a support and see what other people are struggling with because we're all constantly learning and growing. So, yeah, you have that available to you. The community is forever and for the
Yeah.
length of the
And
program, as long as the program exists.
yeah, they're recordings too. So like for
Mhm.
me, being at my desk by myself, my team is remote. Like I throw on the recordings and it's like again, it is that person at the next desk or the next office that is I'm hearing the conversations and it's just encouraging me that first of all, we don't have to do this by ourselves. We
Yeah.
don't like we get to do it with each other. We get to have help when it's needed. We get to provide help if you have that capacity too. And so that's why it's just really cool to be on this side of things this time is to give back in a way that others can benefit from our perspective, our learning experience, situations we've been through, or even just diving deep into really nerdy accounting things that bring us joy.
Yeah. Speaking of diving deep into nerdy accounting things, I mentioned a minute ago that the last week of the cohort, you'll be conducting your wave week, basically. It's really just a 1 day, but I know it takes a lot out of you for that entire week. So, can you talk about what Wave Seattle is and are there tickets left? What's the deal?
Yeah, yeah. I also decided to throw an internal upkeeping retreat in that week too. So, just do all the things in 1 week. But because we do have an employee who lives in Indiana and she'll be flying in for the event, I figured this is a great chance to bring the team together. But Wave Seattle is a conference for women in accounting and finance. And so it stands for Women in Accounting, Visionaries, and Entrepreneurs. I always say the F is silent for the finance ladies, but we have a lot of CFOs and financial planners who come too. So last year was the first year. you were up on the stage with me and Alyssa Lang, Workflow Queen. We did a live podcast recording. If you have not listened to that, I beg you to go back into Serena's YouTube and find either the video or the podcast of it. It was such a great conversation.
Yeah.
And so we're doing it again this year, our second year, and we've got 5 speakers taking the stage. We've got Nicole Davis, we've got Brittany Brown, we have Lynette Osconnell, we have Diana Gleason, and then we also have Jackie Meyer, which I haven't even
Oh,
announced yet. So if you're listening to this, you heard it first. We'll have another podcast live recording and a panel on partnerships and then a mentor hour. So jam-packed day, but there's still a lot of time for intentional, just getting to know people. We also have an evening reception the night before, and then we'll probably have dinner and stuff the next day as well.
cool. And right now there are still tickets. Is it still on
Yep.
pre-sale or no?
Not pre-sale, nope, regular sale, but yes, we do have tickets. We have a hotel room block at a hotel that is within walking distance to the venue, and it's going to be great. I'm just really excited about it. We have a
Awesome.
lot of great women from all over the country who are flying in.
Yeah, and maybe other countries too. I'm sure Canada or something. Someone will be there from Canada. I just know it. Last year was a total blast. I'm really bummed that I can't make it this year with end of school year and childcare situations, but I
Yeah,
will be sending all the good vibes.
I know. You will be there with us in spirit for sure.
Yes. So thank you so much for carving out the time to meet with me and share on the podcast. And I'm super excited for this upcoming cohort. If you're listening, you can go to ambitiousbookkeeper.com/VIP and learn more about the program, other stuff that's included, bonuses, call times are all listed there. And you can also book a call with one of us to see if it's the right fit. And we will actually be honest if it's not. We are high in integrity over here, and I don't want to take anyone's money that isn't actually ready for this. And we'll be here when you are ready. So thank you so much, Erin. Where can people connect with you outside of the podcasts that they're listening to? Where's the
Yeah.
best place to find you?
I am most active now on LinkedIn, so you can just look up Erin Pohan. I'm also on Instagram, upkeeping.co. Threads is like I will log in for very small periods of time, but there are a ton of accountants. There's a lot of us out on Threads. I was very surprised.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. I actually got a client on Threads like within a week of being on Threads.
Oh, that's awesome. I believe it. There's a lot of business owners.
Yeah, for sure. It's a fun one. And it doesn't suck me in as long as like video content does. So I'm like, I get bored after a few minutes and then I'm off of it. And I'm like, okay,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is perfect for me.
Also, I'm trying out a new YouTube channel this year too, so you can find me on
Yes,
YouTube.
go check out Erin's YouTube. I'll link it below. And I think I'll be able to add you as a collaborator on this too,
Oh,
on
cool.
this video on YouTube. So that should help. But yeah, definitely. I've been watching your YouTubes. They're so good. Yeah, definitely go check out Erin on YouTube. And thank you again so much. And we hope to see you inside of the accelerator for this upcoming cohort.
Yeah, see you soon.
Bye. Thank you to everyone who helps make this podcast possible. Content and interviews are produced by me, Serena Shu. Our intro and outro music is written and performed by my brother, Ian Gilliam. Editing is also by Ian using his awesome sound engineering skills along with Descript software. Hosting and publishing is by Buzzsprout. And you can check out the show notes for links to all of these amazing resources and resources mentioned in the episode.
Be ambitious.